We're live. Wait, you said that same time. It's a new month. It's the 1st of November. Let's
It's the
go.
first of the month.
It's the 1st of the month, and we're back again with another live stream, of course. You know how it's going to go. This one's going to be a banger. It's back, me and you again. And these episodes are always like some of my favorites. So, yeah, we're going to absolutely have a wonderful, wonderful time today. The stream is working lovely, and we've got some people coming in already. Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to the weekly vol.
Happy
How are
Friday,
you
happy
all doing?
November. How's it going, guys?
Yeah. Let's get this in the Discord. Oh, you're sharing it already? You got the link?
I have the link to the tweet.
Perfect. Chuck it in the Discord and let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Um, how was Halloween for everyone? I think might have been a little bit scary. Yesterday we actually had a bit of a red candle. We recovered a little bit today with the green candle, so looks like the Halloween terrors are over for now. I'm talking about Bitcoin, by the way. Mo, how
How
are
about ETH?
say again?
How about ETH?
Yeah. Oh man, ETH is a horror,
It's been
man.
a year of scary season.
Yeah, ETH is a horror. You know what? Today let's start with ETH. The scariest asset of them all, right? Happy
Yeah,
Halloween, people. I see some people tuning in. But
let's
yeah,
go.
let's talk about the nightmare. That is the one and only ETH. Um, I mean, this asset just keeps underperforming, and you might not be able to tell from this so much. You might be thinking, "Waj, shut up, man! What are you talking about? The asset's going sideways, and we're at pretty much the same price as the
Yeah,
5th of August." But
unless you compare it with Bitcoin or
yeah,
Solana.
exactly, Mo, exactly, and that's why we're gonna look at this, which yesterday put in a new all-time low. I say all-time low. I mean, like since 2020, since 2022. Sorry. So yeah, 2 years and a bit of downtrend, and we are at a new low as of yesterday. Now today, somehow, I mean, we're really zooming in here. We're a little bit higher than where we were yesterday. I saw a couple of people say, this 1% move has bottomed ETH. I mean, I'm not convinced yet, and we've
Definitely not.
still got
Definitely not.
a few percentage points till we get down to this bottom line. Then we'll talk about it. But yeah, ETH continues to bleed against Bitcoin. Any surprises there, Mo?
Not surprised at all. I think we've called this weeks ago. Like the,
I
the
think it was
obvious,
months ago, Mo. Mo, we've
yeah,
been mentioning this months ago.
yeah, the obvious weakness in ETH has been showing in the charts. It's weak against Solana, it's weak against Bitcoin. It's underperforming a lot of alts. Like none of this actually surprises me. Like the moment we lost uh, that low that was before the ETF news, like
Oh, before the ETF news.
yeah, it retraced all that, like all that upside, which showed there was tons of weakness and it was set to going to, like, it was gonna go to hell.
Yeah, and I mean, I just highlighted on screen for those of you who are watching, really some key areas. Here was when we saw that giga candle, when we saw the ETF news, get announced. That announcement pretty much marked that local top, and since then it's been pretty horrendous. Since the ETF announcement, we are down 37% against Bitcoin. That is bad, really, really, really bad. And especially because Bitcoin's been going up in this time period. So yeah, pretty pretty much a disaster for ETH at the moment. And I don't know where things are going. Now people keep saying to me, we're at peak FUD for ETH. Like it can't get any worse. And somehow it always just keeps getting worse. Like I don't understand. I think this can still get way worse. People say, look, this is like Solana back in post FTX. Mo, this is nothing like Solana post FTX. We're a long way away from that still. I think there's still
Yeah,
a lot of believers, and
yeah. I still remember Solana when it was like $8 to $9. The sentiment was way worse than
uh-huh.
right now. So I think we still have some bleeding to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I
So
still see ETH going to like $2,000.
$2,000. So let's have a look at the ETH chart and let's see kind of what that actually would look like. Well, we've got that massive wick that we had. If you remember, 5th of August. That was
Yeah.
quite a big red day, and we went to 2,120. Um, Maybe we go back to this level again. What do you think, Mo?
Yes, that's what I'm rooting for. Like, possibly wicking below 2100.
Okay, so I've just drawn like a little pattern in terms of like what Mo is really talking about there.
The thing is, I'm not really bearish on Bitcoin. Like, I see Bitcoin going to like all-time highs in the next few weeks, but the ETH chart, man, the ETH chart, it just looks terrible. It looks like shit.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it is, and I really wonder like what
And
is
two
it going
years
to do
ago,
in the
everybody
future?
loved ETH and everybody was holding ETH.
Yeah,
So
very very interesting.
ETH to
Um,
10K,
Say again, sorry.
ETH to 10K.
Oh yeah, that was a big. A lot of people were shouting for that, weren't they? Eve to 10K. I
Yeah.
don't think we're anywhere near that right now. And you mentioned something very interesting, Mo. You said you're very bullish on Bitcoin. Talk to me about that. What is it about Bitcoin right now that's making you feel so bullish?
I mean, it like you can see the strength. The strength is obvious. Like, it's sitting at an all-time high. Like, it's showing some support around 69K, higher highs, higher lows. You can see the strength. You can see like people are buying, people are bullish, and we're also seeing it in the ETF inflows. Like, I think it was uh, a billion maybe or 500 million in one day. I forgot.
Yeah, yeah, we had some crazy stuff happening with the Bitcoin ETF. I'm in complete agreement with you. I think Bitcoin. Look at this lower highs, lower highs, higher lows. Sorry, higher highs. And this has been the trend that we've been in since September. We've rode through it for the whole 2 month period. I mean, you could argue that this is ascending channel that we're in right now, where like
Yeah.
kind of top of the range, bottom of the range. Maybe if I draw this, you'll kind of appreciate it a little bit more. Apologies for my lines; they're not too accurate. I'm just doing a very quick one, really, just to highlight this to you.
Doctors are known for their bad drawing and writing.
Oh yeah, tell me about it, man. I mean, this is a horrendous drawing, but just to really highlight the point of like this kind of channel that we're potentially in, and yeah, I completely agree. Bitcoin is looking fantastic right now, like really really good, and I think there's quite a whole range of things happening for Bitcoin from a fundamental perspective too. We've seen Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy say that they want to buy $42 billion of Bitcoin this week. Obviously this is going to be over a 3-year period, but this is essentially them saying that they're going to double or triple the rate that they're buying Bitcoin at the moment, which is incredible.
Exactly.
We've seen the rise of like Bitcoin DeFi products like Solve and Lombard and Babylon, like really sucking up billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin. You've got chains like Chain, which is where we're building, like really tried to have a push for Bitcoin over the last few weeks, and we know that there's going to be lots of Bitcoin activity. There's Bitcoin side chains, Bitcoin L2s. I mean, there's even meme coins with Bitcoin in their name.
Yeah, I have tons of friends that are like active in the ordinals and rune space.
Ordinals and runes, absolutely. And then of course, you've got some of the macro stuff happening that we talked about already with the Bitcoin ETF. They're max bidding at the moment, over $20 billion net inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. You can't say that about ETH at all. And then you got Mr. Trump, the biggest pro Bitcoin president the United States of America have ever had. I mean, it's looking pretty good. You know what? Something that's so interesting, Mo. Even Cardano, ADA. I don't know if you saw this, but Charles Hoskinson is going all in on
Yes, they're
Bitcoin.
making an L2.
Yeah, Cardano is having something to do with the Bitcoin through
Yeah.
an L2. I mean, there's a
They need
lot
to
of
revive
stuff happening.
Cardano.
There's a lot of stuff happening really, and I think if you add all of these kind of on-chain, off-chain, macro liquidity, all of these different things coming together, it's hard not to be bullish on Bitcoin. Now, one thing, Mo, that I want to get your opinion on is something that I saw recently was a lot of people saying that actually all of this run up has been because of Trump. They say this is the Trump move, and actually a lot of people are kind of buying Bitcoin in anticipation of Trump winning. What do you think about this? Do you think that this is kind of all priced in, and like this is Bitcoin as if Trump is the president already, or do you think if he were to be announced, we're gonna go even higher than this?
Uh, yes, I do believe so. I do believe that everything is sort of priced in, and the last few days of Bitcoin pumping like up to 73, almost 74K, have been like pricing in the Trump presidency, and we've also seen it in the the order books in Polymarket. Like Trump's lead has reached, I think, 67% over the last few days, and I kind of believe that it was like Bitcoin was pricing in the Trump presidency, and maybe now it's just like consolidating a bit, trying to take out the high leverage people, the people that use perps instead of options, and like maybe the big institutions are trying to like accumulate more positions into Bitcoin. So I do believe that if Trump actually wins, we're gonna go higher, probably like 120K, possibly 150K. I'm not sure about 150, but I think 120K is a reasonable target once we get past 100K potentially.
So from what I understand, I think you're talking about like next year, right? Like
Yeah,
not anything in the
not
short
this year.
term. And
This year
so
probably like 90K.
yeah, one thing I wanted to ask is like, okay, you can see right now I've pulled up the odds for Polymarket. You can see Trump has, according to Polymarket right now, a 62% chance. And this is where people are kind of putting their money at the moment. You can see the incredible volume that is on these different candidates as well.
Yeah, I think it's like $1 billion in volume.
It's actually 3 billion,
Oof.
2.9
Yeah,
billion.
yeah, exactly. So you can actually like rely on this data. It's not like
Um,
a liquid betting market.
what's really interesting is like the polling data is very different, and I think ultimately that is more of a kind of current sentiment, whereas this is like people are actually kind of putting their money on where they think.
Exactly.
My question really to you is, and is, with Donald Trump having such high odds over Kamala at the moment, is this essentially the Trump move? And so essentially it's priced in that Trump is going to win, meaning when Trump, I should say, if Trump gets elected, have we already kind of priced in the entire move already? How
Mm,
can things go a little bit higher if it's already so unanimous that everyone thinks Trump is going to win?
I,
Surely
I
this is priced
I
in, no?
think the elections day is gonna be like a big candle that has huge wicks to the upside and the downside. I do think so.
And if you think that's going to be the case, apologies. If you think that's going to be the case, then surely it just makes sense to long volatility on the day of the election, right?
Exactly. Using zero
But
DTEs.
yeah, buy a call, buy a put, and just hope that price swings one way or the other. It either goes crazily
Where
up or
else
crazily
would you
down.
buy zero DTEs other than IVX?
Of course, of course. Where else would you want to buy them? Of course, but yeah, I think this actually creates a pretty interesting strategy. Long volatility, buy call, buy put, and on that particular day, if you're in agreement with Mo, and you think that that will be a day where there will be volatile action in the market, then that could be a very very interesting strategy for sure. I haven't
Yes.
decided what I'm going to do on that day yet, because I agree, like the uh, one thing I know is that volume will be high, but I'm not sure if volatility will be as high as that just yet. I don't know. I need to do a little bit more research first to figure out a proper plan around trading this
Yeah.
because it's going to be one of the
Let's take a
craziest
look at the
events.
comments.
Oh yeah, I'll have a look in a
Yeah,
second. But
I
I think,
mean, oh hey made a great point.
oh yeah, let me have
I
a look. Let me
I
have a
kind
look.
of agree with him.
He says, uh, the bullers, good friends of ours.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So look, I think volume will be crazy. Is volatility going to be that crazy on the day? I mean, I don't know. This is like one
Yes.
of the
Yes.
craziest events to trade
I do
all
believe
year.
that.
All year, like that election day is the day to trade. But yeah, let's see.
And
Let's
we're
see where it goes.
possibly gonna do a stream. What do you think, Waj?
I think that's a great idea. We
Yeah.
should stream. We should stream all day and look at the 1 minute chart together. I mean, because realistically, that's all what we're going to be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Fine, fine. Okay, so I think it's consensus between you and I that we both are feeling pretty bullish on Bitcoin. We listed a whole range of reasons. We talked about why we're not so bullish on ETH at the moment. The question is, Mo, how are you positioning for this at the moment? Are you long Bitcoin, short ETH, or have you got like a different way to express this opinion at the moment?
I'm not in any position at all, in any derivative position. I'm
Hmm.
in certain meme coins. I'm
Yep.
fully allocated into meme coins,
Yep.
but I'm do considering maybe on Monday, like pulling the trigger on a 75k, put on 75k price. Like what's the word? 75k strike for Friday. Buying a call on it.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. So next week you're feeling particularly bullish.
Yes,
You think the all-time high is coming very, very
of
soon.
course, of course.
Interesting,
Like
interesting.
buying calls for that expire on Friday,
Hmm.
and the strike should be like 74, 75. This none of this is financial advice, of course.
Yep, I think very important for you to say that, Mo. For the hundreds of you tuning in right now, nothing here is financial advice. We are two idiots that don't know what we're talking about, and
Years old.
we are wrong all the time. So this is just our personal opinion, and we don't know anything about what's going to happen in the market. So please don't take anything here as investment or financial advice. So fine, okay, Mo. You've got a pretty interesting strategy there. My
What
strategy is
about you?
yeah, my strategy is a little bit different. I'm just outright long Bitcoin at the moment, and but I'm not short ETH. What I have been doing is over the last 6 months, my ETH exposure, which was at one point 100% ETH, 0% Bitcoin, 0% Sol, which is crazy, right?
Yeah,
Is completely different to that now. So this is what that was my positioning probably at the earlier part of this year when the markets were absolutely ripping. Now I am more like 20% ETH, 20% Sol, and 60% Bitcoin. Think
interesting.
that's more what my holdings are like now. But
Will
I'm
will you
long
be
Bitcoin.
actively trading next week, like the elections?
I'm just outright long Bitcoin at the moment, and I'm happy to kind of
What's your
hold
entry?
hold. My entry is 60K.
Oof.
I've had it a lot open for ages. So
Yeah, the funding is probably like a lot.
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Funding is actually all right, actually. Um, So yeah, I mean, I'm not really gonna cut this position. I'm actually happy to just hold it
Yeah,
for weeks, even if I have to.
hold it to like 100k.
I mean that's going to be tricky. That's going to be tricky because, I think one thing that actually this leads up nicely to is what do you think
Funding
about
rates?
Bitcoin dominance?
Mm, yeah. Bitcoin dominance, I think it reached 60%.
It's past 60 now.
Oof.
Look at that new all-time high on Bitcoin
Oof.
dominance. 60 point. It was 60.29 a second ago. Um, Maybe we can look at it. It's pretty much there at
No.
all-time high, right?
Open the weekly chart. Weekly chart on Bitcoin dominance.
The weekly.
Oof.
um,
Yeah, this is
and
not gonna stop. This is
Oh,
not.
okay. Look, this is pretty interesting, right? So I marked this area a long time ago on this chart to really just look at like where I think this could possibly go. And I was looking historically, and I was like, look, there is this channel area where like Bitcoin dominance has historically, from a technical perspective, had areas of resistance and areas of support. You know, we
Yeah,
could see resistance, but then it became support, broke, and became resistance, back up again. We've had this multiple times over the last few years, and since the end of last cycle, we haven't been anywhere near that whatsoever, and we're finally getting close to this area now. And so we're
yeah,
actually not far off this at all. This is actually a 2-3% increase.
yeah.
we,
But this
we,
is
we had
gonna kill alts. Like I can't
Yeah.
even imagine what's gonna happen to like ETH or the other weak
I
altcoins.
I mean, we had this move, this kind that 2% move this week. So I don't see why another 2% move, I mean, wouldn't take us there. And perhaps that could be the moment where we see this happen. Like this is March 21. We all know that like March, April, like that was one of the craziest times to be in alts ever. This time here is when I would go on Coin Market Cap and just see the most random new coins just pumping 500%,
Yeah,
600%, 1000%. Like and this was a crazy, crazy moment. And to be fair, so was February. I remember this very, very clearly. Like here, I mean, right here, we're talking about January, February. This time was unreal, like absolutely unreal. And altcoins were absolutely ripping here. I wonder, if we hit this area or we reject off this area, whether or not a similar thing will happen. Um, because to be fair, that time period that we had back here where Bitcoin dominance dropped was obviously because altcoins just went absolutely insane. They were performing like crazy. I'm not sure if altcoins have the same kind of cycle as last cycle. Well, last cycle, it was pretty normal for altcoins to just do 10, 20, 50, 100x. Not so sure that will happen again. But I think we are coming to a pretty critical area here where I think something is going to happen. We've seen, look, how long has Bitcoin dominance been this for? I mean, look at this.
two
From
years.
August 22, yeah, which is pretty much where we bottomed. September 22. We're talking about FTX era. It's just been like this. Like, there has been no point in kind of trying to outperform Bitcoin here whatsoever, because like, I mean, have you ever seen anything like this? This is just pure Bitcoin outperformance, really. And yeah, you do have a few sectors here and there that have outperformed Bitcoin, but in general, no, you can't beat it, for especially when it comes to risk reward over the last 2 years. I mean, you could have had like a leveraged Bitcoin position this whole time, and you would have it would have traded like an altcoin. Um, but we are getting to this area here, and I think this is a very, very interesting area, and this is where I'm looking to do some activity. So yeah, I mentioned I've got this Bitcoin long open. I think we're not so far away from something crazy happening. And to be fair, it could end up, going into 2025. Like you can see that I've got on my cursor right now. This is approximately, this point here would be like January 2025. Maybe it takes us into next year, but I think
Potentially.
I am just watching this area, and I think it will be really interesting in future episodes that we do to see what happens here. Do we just do we kind of reject off it? Do we hold it around here? Do we carry on going higher? But I just think that there's some interesting elements here to really pay attention to, as we've seen historically in the past too, that I've tried to circle here. So yeah, I
We'd
think I've,
probably reject off like 62, 63%.
maybe, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I've ranted a little bit there, so I'm gonna just have a read of some of the comments, see what people have been talking about here. We've got Miles, who says all-time high hype and then big dump back into the range. Man, please don't do this, Miles. I really don't want that, but who knows? Who knows? We got Asen, who says 100K by Christmas. Very, very interesting. Uh, we've got he also says April is the most volatile month of the year besides September, October. So what does that mean? September, October, we've had pretty. I don't know what Aizen's trying to say here. The fact that we've had a lot of volatility in like November and December now is not going to be so volatile, or do we have to wait till April for alt season? Please, not that long, please. Cool. Okay. So Mo, we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about ETH, we talked about Bitcoin dominance. What do you want to talk about next?
Uh, Funding rates, open
Yeah.
interest,
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let me just
maybe
open.
inflows.
Yeah, let's talk about all of those things. So let me just open this up for a second.
Dr. Ooga Booga.
Right. So let's talk about funding rates first. As I mentioned, Bitcoin funding rates are pretty decent. You're paying 10% APY to hold your position for the year. This is for longs, by the way. Not too bad whatsoever. I think across the market as well, funding rates aren't that crazy. Yeah, nothing really, really abnormal here. You got AVAX, which has negative funding rates. I don't know why Bitcoin Cash is at minus 30%, but otherwise, generally, everything seems pretty normal. Yeah, nothing crazy at all. I mean, when we go to altcoins, it's a different story. You definitely have some quite weird and wonderful stuff going on
Axie
here with
Infinity.
Axie Infinity. Yeah, I mean, you could do some pretty interesting strategies here. For those of you who are interested in funding rate arbitrage, I'm sure there's somewhere where you can arb this really well. You can see on BitMEX, you're only paying 10%. On Binance, it's minus 70%. So there's definitely some pretty interesting arbs there that you can do if you're able to explore the wide world of derivatives, especially if you use some of the on-chain protocols too. So yeah, I think in general, nothing too crazy apart from just a few select alts, which is interesting to see. Inflow wise, as we just mentioned before, we had 2 crazy days here, almost 1 billion in inflows, most of it coming from BlackRock, which has consistently been like one of the highest plays. BlackRock and Fidelity, these two have been the monsters of the inflow so far. The rest not so relevant. Again, with most of the outflows from Grayscale, sorry. So yeah, Bitcoin really good. Ethereum not so good. I think you can see there's such a crazy difference here. Still a lot of outflows from Grayscale, which is probably going to continue to happen. There's still a lot of ETH that they hold. And I think they've only got rid of a third of it so far. Yeah, look, I mean, we've still got a lot of holdings within this ETF. So I think a lot more needs to leave. But you can see that the Bitcoin one has flattened out around 40%. So maybe it's going to be a similar story, and we're going to flatten out at maybe 50 or 40 as well. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that's that when it comes to funding rates. What you can and ETFs as well. Yeah, you know what? You can actually go on some of these on-chain perps protocols and like really arbitrage some pretty interesting stuff. Today, last couple of days, I noticed a perps dex which had minus 200% when it for Bitcoin,
What?
meaning yeah. So I could basically buy some Bitcoin, short Bitcoin on this perps dex, and get paid 200% on my short side, which is
Every 4 hours?
no 200% APY. So you
Oh,
get paid. I think you get paid every 8 hours, but very good yields. Very good yields. Where else are you gonna get paid 200% to hold the Delta
yeah,
U
but these rates are like dynamic.
Yeah, they're dynamic. It's down to 90 today, but I mean, I personally am happy to even have these positions open for like 3 days. I hold a position for like 3 days. I make like 0.7%, which it doesn't sound crazy because with meme coins you make that in like 5 seconds. In fact, you make like 100 times that in 5 seconds. But
Yeah,
like if you're playing with some decent size and you're able to, and you got some cash, 0.7%,
it's
is
farming. It's just farming.
Yeah, it's just farming. It's just farming exactly. If you're playing with, 100K, just less than 1% a day, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Um, so definitely some interesting things, especially with more of these exotic alts as well, which is pretty cool. And you can do the same with options as well. If you're able to find some really high premiums, sell into them, hedge your exposure, and yeah, you can do kind of similar thing. Although it's less frequent on chain, I guess. But hopefully in due time we should see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you got to spend a lot of time, as Asen mentioned. Okay, so I think let's talk about some juicy topics now. Let's talk about altcoins and narratives and things that have been happening in the market. So last week we talked about the AI coin matter. Mo, was it something that you played or didn't, or like you carried on trading or anything afterwards?
Nah, I didn't even touch this because by the time it like some of these coins were reaching like 800 million, 500 million, I knew it was too late like to even join the
Yeah,
trend.
and to be fair, I think you made the right decision because if we have a look at some of the big coins, I mean, maybe we can look at this one here, the big one which was goat. You made the right call here because I think last week when we were talking about it, it was around 800 or 850 million, and now
Yeah,
it's down 30+%. Actually was
proof.
even almost 40% at one point. So yeah, right decision there. And I'm interested to see where this kind of meta goes, because I think like AI agents, like people have really woken up to, and so I think this is something that I will follow, pretty closely. There are so many AI agent coins, and so yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what developments come out of them. uh what else are you looking at altcoin wise? You mentioned meme coins specifically, as
Yeah.
well. What are the meme coins that are performing well today that you've seen?
Uh, I'm not like buying into these well-performing meme coins. I'm just accumulating a huge position in Momo.
Should we look at the chart?
Why not? It's like it's been accumulating for 50, like a few weeks.
Oh yeah, it has been. And what's the thesis here?
These
Oh, I've lost him. We lost him. Th- there is no thesis. That's Mo for you, isn't it? Um, yeah, Asen, that was a truth terminal that we were just looking at. And I,
Watch. Let's look at ticker Bitcoin, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic. Like yesterday,
yeah,
it,
I was just
it
gonna
did
say,
like minus 50%.
yeah. So I don't know if was it. Did I message you about this? Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it
you did, you did.
because it really took me by surprise. This doesn't have a ticker in the name. Sorry. Yeah, it really took me by surprise just seeing like what the hell happened here because this was crazy. And I think the 1 minute chart like really helps to explain what happened. If I can go back in time, look at this, look at this. This is unbelievable.
Yeah,
And the
this
reason,
this is because
go ahead.
some guy sold 3 million in like 3 4 clips.
Yeah. The reason why I just saw this straight away, I got a notification on my phone saying that Bitcoin was down 50%. And I was like, wait, what? Bitcoin? And I was like, no, no, it's the wrong Bitcoin. It's ticker Bitcoin. And yeah, it went down 60% in like 4 minutes.
But it
Uh,
retraced like the entire move back.
yeah, it did pretty well. I mean, if you saw this and like I saw it like here, right? At like 16 cents. And I was thinking, oh man, do I buy this or not? And I just wasn't at my desk or anything, so I was like, oh man, forget it. But if you caught anywhere near the bottom, like nice, over 100% move that you've made back there. In fact, higher actually. I think you could have made, yeah, 115% in an hour, which was pretty crazy. But again, it was just one of those moments where you just had to be there. And from what I've seen, I believe the person who actually sold all of this Bitcoin, I mean, maybe we can show you on screen right now. This is one of the coolest things that I saw actually. Is maybe I'll
Increase it, like move the minimum to 100. No, no, 100K, 100K.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. It's 1 million.
Yeah.
This is one of his cells. He had
Add,
multiple cells.
add it. No, 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 no.
This
Like
is what I
from
want.
Deck
This is what I
Screener.
want to see.
From Deck
So
Screener, do it. You can do it from Deck Screener.
no, I want to show you
Press,
something different.
press on this. Oh, okay, okay. Never
I
mind.
wanted to show you what he did with his money after, because this is the funny thing. So he ended up buying actual Bitcoin. And so he sold the meme coin Bitcoin, and he bought 50 rat BTC, which I just thought was one of the funniest things ever. You know, like this guy just literally sold HPOS fake Bitcoin and ended up buying real Bitcoin. That was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty crazy thing. Yeah, just having a look at the comments. Timmy says, have a look at MAGA. We can have a look at that. IMX, yeah, they did get a Wells notice. I did see that. So that would be pretty cool. And Asen also says, Van Eck made a major investment in Injective. What? That is kind of bizarre. I would never have expected that. Maybe we can have a look at some of these things. So Injective, I mean, never really been something that has interested me, to be honest with you. I've never really liked this coin so much. So pretty interesting that they have done such a big investment. If they have, this chart doesn't look like it's going anywhere at the moment. Looks like
Oof,
we're
Bitcoin
pretty
something.
much at support here. So yeah, nothing too exciting. Immutable, which had a Wells notice today. Not a good day for them so far. It seems. I mean, let's have a look a little bit closer, see how this has affected them. It's not so bad, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but down a little bit. And Mo, you said Bitcoin is pumping,
Bitcoin's down.
dumping. Oh,
Yeah.
dumping. I see. I see.
Ethereum as well. I'm checking the 4 hour chart.
Yeah, I can see. We can see very clearly it is dumping a little bit, but I mean,
Solana
nothing.
as well.
As long as it's above 68, I mean, I don't think that's too bad to worry
Yeah.
about. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, we should definitely get Van Eck into Bearer Chain. I think if there's one chain that's pretty exciting, it has to be Bearer Chain, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, can't miss that. Otherwise, I told you that I've been trading Bitcoin. I haven't really been trading alts too much recently. Rather, I've just been trying to find some of the alts I really like and just accumulate them. So doing a little bit of accumulating actually. And yeah, of course, I'm doing a bit of farming as well. But otherwise, just kind of sitting very patiently. And I think the good times will hopefully come pretty soon. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my thoughts.
You should believe
I'm
in
interested.
something.
Yeah, I should believe in something. Maybe I need to believe what you're believing in.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Was there anything else that we wanted to cover today? I think we talked about quite a lot, actually.
Uh, let's wait for some questions from the viewers.
Yeah, guys, if you want us to talk about any particular alts, or if you want us to look at any specific charts, drop them in the comments. If we missed anything, drop them in the comments again. Drop it in the chat box, just so that we can see, so we can have a look at that sort of stuff. So we've got one comment here from Asen who says, let's have a look at Doge. So we can certainly do that. I think Doge is, to me, and again, obviously, no financial advice. I mean, what the hell do I know? But I think Doge in general seems to be a bit of a risky choice to go with right now. I think it's had a pretty good run up from October, actually. 80% up. But again, I feel like this is kind of somewhat like the Trump trade, where like it's gone up because of Trump. And I think I would say that if Trump doesn't get elected, then I think this is going to be one of the coins that you want to be shorting. Like this coin, I would be worried if Trump doesn't get elected. But I think if he does, this is to me, it's a little bit like a high leverage play on the election a little bit. I mean, what do you think, Mo? Do you agree?
Uh,
High
I
beta
will.
play, good. Trump wins. This continues to do well. Kamala dumps.
I mean, potentially if like Elon Musk hops on the Trump train, like
I mean, he's
yeah, I
already on
know,
the
yeah, but I mean, if he like brings out some picture of
yeah
Doge during
yeah
these conferences or
yeah.
rallies,
It's an interesting asset though. One thing that I also think is, for this meme coin super cycle to really continue as well, does Doge need to really perform well, or can the meme coin super cycle continue even without Doge outperforming?
mm, possibly, yeah.
Like, is Doge the asset that's going to like end up like, people will kind of once it moves up, people rotate out of Doge to go for like, the next Shiba, etc. Maybe they go for Whiff or Pepe or whatever. Like it, but
Momo.
is it Doge? Yeah, or is it Doge that needs to like make that move up first? So it's something that I was thinking about, but hadn't quite made my mind up on whether Doge needs to perform well
Probably
for
because
the
you
meme
know,
coin cycle.
like liquidity moves from the biggest assets to the smallest assets.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can say the same thing in the meme coin space. Like it's gotta move from the highest market cap meme coin, and it has to rotate to the lowest market caps.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That was my thought process anyway. So yeah, I think Asen said is pretty much what we've mentioned as well. Cole says, "Have you looked at a plug?" I haven't actually. I don't know the alpha behind it. I know that it's will be on Bearer Chain eventually, and it's trading on Arbitrum, I believe. But I'm not the most well versed in what's going on in the plug ecosystem. So maybe you can give me some insights there. Mo, do you know anything about it?
I just know the inspiration is about plug.
Yeah. Fine. Any other altcoins that people are interested in? One thing that interests me is AI. I really like the AI space. And one of my favorite ways to express exposure to this is through BitTensor, which actually has been kind of performing not so well. It's actually down from local top, which was last month, 2 weeks ago, down 32% right now. So quite a big
Oof.
pullback. Yeah, it was trading at almost $700. And yeah, now it's kind of going back in this downtrend again with the lower highs and lower lows. Maybe we'll get another lower high soon. Maybe that could be something to sell into. But yeah, it doesn't look too good. Maybe we are reaching this potential area of support here, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it hasn't performed so well in the last few weeks, especially when AI agents have performed pretty well. BitTensor itself hasn't, but it's one that I still enjoy, and I think it's so volatile. It's for a multi-billion-dollar asset, this is like one of the most volatile coins, and so you can get some really interesting trading stuff going on around this one for sure.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely.
that's quite a cool one. But yeah, down to $460, man. Didn't expect that after it was like 700 just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I wonder, will this one get to all-time high again? Maybe we'll see. It's looking we're still quite far off that Binance listing, which I think was here in April. We're talking almost $800 there, so yeah, definitely a long way to go till we get anywhere near that one. um you know what, Mo, there's one thing that I haven't looked at in a while. How are the modular coins doing?
Let's take a look.
I mean, they still look pretty garbage, man. I mean, this is not. I mean, from September, it did pretty well, going all the way to $7, but back down to 4.5 again, and like back in this like area of potential, support here. Look at this. This is a pretty critical part. Maybe we bounce off this. Maybe we go down. Maybe we just do a kind of deviation like we've seen here. What do you think about this one, Mo?
Mm, I think we'll go to the lows, like all
Yeah,
time low.
all time low.
Especially because I heard that they're gonna be selling 1 million every day.
Oh, oh, I haven't actually looked at the unlock schedule for this one. Actually, haven't seen it. But yeah, that's not very good, is it? Interesting, interesting. One other coin that I actually I'm following a little bit closely at the moment is Eigen, which again performing terribly at it's at lows. Probably will close. I mean, if it carries on at this rate, we'll get back to all-time low again since listing. So yeah, it was doing okay at one point. I mean, on the launch day, it was $4.50. From that point, we are down 40% now already. So yeah, looks like it's actually going down as we're talking. So that's great, isn't it? Any other coins that are on the radar? Anything else that was shared in the chat? I can't see the chat at the moment.
Not really, but I'm noticing that the market is dumping.
The market is dumping like right now, isn't it? Yeah, look at
Yeah.
this. Look at the 4-hour wick. Yeah, market is dumping, but I think it's still okay. Like I said, as long as we stay above 68.3, then I think we're okay. So we've still got a bit of buffer. I think even if Bitcoin falls another 1%, should be fine. Should be fine. Sometimes one of the patterns that you see is like when you kind of deviate over, you often kind of can go back to the other side of the range, and maybe you get a deviation here before going back up. So this is something that's I'll be looking for. But yeah, either way, nothing that I'm actually actively trading on the low time frame.
Yeah.
My position is always a little bit higher time frame. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I think if there's, maybe we can just see if there's any other questions. I'm just reading some of the comments as well. Cool. Is good to know about that, Cole. Very cool. Nice. Cool. All right. Mo, any last comments that you want to mention?
Uh, nah. I think we've spoken enough about the market. I actually enjoyed this. I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it's good, right? Oh, we can talk. We can talk about just a little bit about IVX just before we wrap up. So, for those of you who have been playing around, well done. You guys are doing great. We recognize all of you, especially the Titulus and Gammalis, who have been putting out tremendous work. Hopefully, we should have IVLP, which is our liquidity model, coming out pretty soon. You know how dev work goes, man. I wish I could just say it's coming out on a specific day, but something can always pop up, and yeah, it ends up getting delayed a little bit. But I'm just, it should be this month, definitely. So, we're in November now, so IVLP will be here. And I guess then it's just a case of a new thing for you guys to play around with, which will be really fun. We will probably have some more updates next week, so you'll see some more collaborations and some more interesting stuff that we'll put out on Twitter. And we'll be back again next week anyway for the weekly vol. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. Otherwise, yeah,
See you soon, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
see you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.